So, all you've been taught about physics is wrong. If you look at the fundamentals of physics, you'll see that all physical equations are matrix. They're information. They've got no reality. They need the God particle Higgs field mechanism to make them real. Now, this is something you'll never have ever been told anywhere by the so-called geniuses on the planet, but it's pretty obvious. If you need the God particle Higgs mechanism to make a matrix real, which matrix is all the physics that so-called underlies reality according to the physicists, which will look like primitive Stone Age ugugs from a far future perspective or from an alien perspective, one has to posit the reality, not a theory or a supposition, that everything is a matrix, because it all obeys the laws of physics, and only becomes a reality when the Higgs mechanism makes it real. And when you take the Higgs mechanism away from it, it becomes a matrix again. So, Elon Musk, the so-called world's richest man, declaring we live in a matrix, is a feeble-minded half-wit. No, that's being complimentary, 1,000th wit. Because he or she or the alien filth or whatever that controls the matrix mechanism can pick and choose matrices to make real and make realities non-real by taking away the Higgs mechanism, God particles from them. So with that technology, you could simply trawl through the multiverse of realities, make them unreal, trawl through the multiverse of matrices and make whatever one you want real. Would that not be something that the World Economic Forum and the Satanist elite would do anything for? My God, I've never heard about this stuff. No, you haven't, because only a handful of the Satanist elite around the table with their alien masters know the full impact of this technology. My God, but that's horrible. So you can live in the matrix, it can become real, but you can then take away its reality if you have control of the reality maker, which is the Higgs mechanism. Yes. Oh, that's frightening. So here we've got the matrix. Reality is a matrix. No. All garbage. The matrix is real and here's how you escape. No. All these wankers, they got no idea of anything. It's all a simulation. We live in a simulation. The evidence is everywhere. No. Reality is a holographic matrix. No. The path to Christ consciousness. So Alpha 369's got your path. So stop this video, go to Alpha 369 and be assured, once you've paid him loads of money, that you've got your path. But no refunds. Everything is a lie. The real world is another matrix. Nope. the simulation theory. Oh, there's the 1,000th width from Elon Musk. He says we're in a simulation. Nope. They left precise instructions. This 6,000-year-old secret will change your perspective on life. Doubt it. Unlocking the Matrix, the truth about reality revealed. Do you want the truth? Glitches in the Matrix. What are secrets? So, as you can see, YouTube's full of half-wits bleating. Well, they're not half-wits. If Elon Musk's 1,000th width, then these would be a billionth width or a Googleplex width. You have to look up what a Googleplex is. So, all that matters is the Higgs mechanism. He who controls that controls the ability to make matrices real and make realities matrices. Has anyone ever explained that concept to you on anywhere? No. Oh my goodness. Well, how do you know? Well, I'm the world's leading expert on remote sensing, so I can uplift information from gods, aliens, precognitive remote viewer, so I can go to the Omega point and uplift it from the AIs that make a simulation of the entire universe, and. Oh, so that's how you know. Yes. And I'm not making it up because, according to the internet, I'm the world's leading expert on remote sensing. And the Americans don't even like me. In fact, they want me in one of their secret facilities to be plugged in to the DOD's mind rape, which Elon Musk is fronting as his Neuralink, to have me in the Matrix forever, to be the Neo. So, this, and all these are all crap. So let's explain to all of you who don't know what the Higgs mechanism is. La, la, la. We've got something called 5-dimensional space. According to Theodore Kaluza, gravity in the 5th dimension is light. When light... Oh, getting into the 5th dimension. Dr. Joe Dispenza has given you the video to get into the 5th dimension. It's on YouTube. Oh, it's advanced because it's, 5th dimension explained advanced. Oh, please. So, in the 5th dimension, according to the Higgs mechanism, light mixes with the Higgs particle. So we'll look up the Higgs particle. Which has mass. There we are, Higgs particle. No, Neil deGrasse. Neil deGrasse is not a Higgs particle. Higgs boson, no. The God particle. Higgs field explained. Higgs portal, no. So, as you can see, we look for a Higgs particle on YouTube, nothing, 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 nothing. So I'll explain Higgs particle, according to the theory, has mass. This is something that gives some mass to the Higgs boson. And by some interaction with light, this then passes mass onto the information that is physics, which is the matrix. So as you can see, we've got loads of videos explaining nothing, nothing, nothing. Now, if light is gravity in the fifth dimension, something must be causing light to occur. Because in standard general relativity in 4 dimensions, which we have from Einstein's general relativity. So, according to general relativity, the Lagrangian, which for you non-physicists is the energy density, is in general relativity equated with 20 tensors that can be turned into 10 tensors that describe the curvature of 4-dimensional space-time, 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. And here we've got mass curving space-time, but it isn't the mass actually, it's the Lagrangian, the energy density of that mass that's curving space-time, 4 dimensions. But here we come to the kicker. What provides mass to curve 4-dimensional space-time? The Higgs mechanism. So it comes from the 5th dimension. The 5th dimension curves the 4th dimension. Curved space-time. Curved space-time couldn't exist without the Higgs mechanism, because that would have no mass. If that's got no mass, it can't curve space-time, therefore there'd be no gravity. And Kaluza, who did general relativity not in 4 dimensions but in 5 dimensions, came up with electromagnetism is produced by gravity in the 5th dimension. Electromagnetism, light. So something is curving 5-dimensional space, and it's not Lagrangian, the energy density, but something is curving 5-dimensional space to produce light. This light then is used in the Higgs mechanism to make the matrix real. Now, what curves the 5th dimension? Well, no one knows apart from me. But let us posit that it's a part, well, a subset of it is something called free will, which God has as sacrosanct and can't intervene in his creation because of free will. Now, wouldn't it be good to be able to mine free will from things that are totally sequestered? then come to the purpose of humans. There we are, our matrix coffin. There we are. We've got all the human wetware in their coffins. And this stuff that is being mined from the humans is the Higgs mechanism that makes the matrix real. So the architect is AI filth, they're just information, and according to Van der Hooft, all matrix reality is two-dimensional, and in order to climb the dimensions it needs the Higgs mechanism to make it real. And in order to do that, what do? You farm things that have access to the Higgs mechanism, in this case humans. So instead of putting them in their pods, you fill them full of nanotech that does it for you. And Bill Gates, of course, has got the patent for sucking out energy from nanotech humans to power wireless devices. But of course, if it's powering wireless devices, it's electromagnetic radiation, which comes, according to Kaluza, from the fifth dimension. So already we've got Higgs mechanism being sucked out of humans, and according to researchers, half the energy of humans is sucked out of the nanotech. Now, let's go to the next bit.
Scientists are using cells isolated from human tumours to develop new ways to tackle cancer.
Borg.
Cancer cells are not neighbouring healthy cells. Once they bind to the cancer cell, they're taken into the cell. They can't pass through the surface. Instead, part of the cell surface forms a pit, and then it engulfs the nanoparticle. Now we're looking inside the cell. Cellular proteins wrap around the vesicle and drive it inside the cell. You can now see a vesicle carrying the nanoparticle moving towards the very centre of the cell. The vesicle carrying the nanoparticle travels further inside the cell and then fuses with a compartment called an endosome. This is part of the digestive system of the cell's stomach. The inside is acidic, and its job is to digest incoming material. The nanoparticles are degraded inside the endosome, releasing the drug into the cell. The drug can then kill the cancer cell. Nanoparticle-based drug delivery provides a way of attacking cancer without the side effects of conventional chemotherapy.
Right, so from that you can stick anything in nanotech, cancer drugs, whole host of biotoxins, anything you fancy. And when it gets hit by the 18 gigahertz signal, it releases. So we've got nanotech that can be directed to any part of your body and release anything in specific cells in your body, all directed by your 5G Wi-Fi. Wouldn't this revolutionize cancer therapy? Yeah. But in fact, what it's been used for is dyed sunlight. Famous influencers are dropping like flies. I personally think that the more influencers that dye sunlight, the better, but that's just my personal opinion. Dyed sunlight documentary on YouTube. Sun cardiac arrest. Well, you stick the nanotech into the heart to take it out with a bioweapon that's in the nanotech. So, we know that loads of people are dying suddenly. It's quite fun if you look on the internet to see things like this. This is fun. So you can have endless fun looking at all those videos, of which there are innumerable. So, why would you want nanotech that can kill anyone who's been infected, or I think infected's too mild a term, infested with nanotech? Why? Because, of course, the Higgs mechanism, something we haven't gone into. Let's see if it's on YouTube. I doubt it. Probably have to go to Google. No, see, no, causal red time density. We talked about it before, but might as well go to Google. To show you I'm not bullshitting. Why I'm going through all of these is to explain that I'm not making it up. It's all there. You can do all your research. It's just that the billionth wits who purport to be experts are all morons. Haven't even got the faintest idea of what's been deployed on the nanotech infested. 6 billion of you and growing. And there's only a few people around the table who, Satanist elite, who've sold out to the aliens, because remember they've got zero intelligence. So, in return for, what? I need space, I think. In return for life-prolonging technology, they've sold out the human race to alien filth. Simple as that. So, there's probably a table full of the elite around the planet that know the complete picture, and I'm just making it public. Why? Because you're worth it, and you don't even have to use L'Oreal. So, Kozyrev time density, which you can search through and discover for yourself. I'll explain it to you why we go through endless crap. But why we go through this is just to prove, I'm not making up, it's all here, and you can read through this absolutely boring as watching paint dry, but it's in here. That matter over matter interactions are caused, according to this Russian called Kozyrev, which is part of the Russian Soviet psychic warfare program. So, matter over matter interactions. What what makes things happen in the matrix, which has been made real, is Kozyrev time density. There's a time flow. Something that produces a cause loses time density. Something that gains time density is the effect. If it's revolving anti-clockwise, it loses time density. And according to shamans, time revolves anti-clockwise if you're facing away from it. And if you're facing into it, where you become a precognitive remote viewer, it becomes clockwise. So you can read through this turgid, endless shit, but I'm just distilling it because none of you live long enough to go through all of these research. People like me, we live in our ivory towers, and we just love this. To me, this, this is Stone Age crap. But why we went through that is just to prove there is something called Kozyrev time density, and according to Kozyrev, who was a Russian, there's a time flow from cause to effect. Cause gives up time density, effect collects time density. Now, we go back to, we're on Google, so we'll stay there. Higgs mechanism. We put nanotech into the 6 billion infested. It kills them on demand. So you can simply be at GCHQ or NSA centres at Pine Gap or Fort Meade. You just type in their 12 bar Bluetooth code and kill them on demand by releasing the nanotech bioweapon within the nanotech that infests them to kill them at the exact time you want. Remember, they're time synced and entangled with the Higgs boson from CERN, White Rabbit. So, according to Kozyrev, when you die, you give up your time density. When you are conceived, you affect. You collect time density, so it's reverse time density. So we've got time in reverse, proving that looking at things from the fifth dimension with this, it's all in reverse. Cause comes after effect. Effect is the thing that happens before cause. Why? Well, when you've got the Higgs mechanism, you've got a Higgs particle that has mass. If a Higgs particle has mass, let's say it's in the fifth dimension, that explains the Higgs mechanism. No one's fully elucidated what the Higgs mechanism is. They just had it to make the matrix real, and some Scottish physicist Higgs came up with the mechanism and his Mexican top hat, which I'm not going to explain. So, the Higgs particle has mass. Why has it got mass? Let's put it in the fifth dimension. If it's got mass in the fifth dimension, it must be producing light, because any gravity in the fifth dimension produces light. And Higgs boson has no mass, so it must be darkness. So in the fifth dimension, you've got things that are bright with gravity in the fifth dimension, things that are dark and have no gravity, things that have free will, things that have no free will. So, wouldn't it be a mining exercise, like in cryptocurrency, to go into the fifth dimension via the human wetware scum who have links to it, so that they give up their free will, which is the light that they go through the tunnel of light when they die, give it up, and in return this light is given to the Higgs boson, which is darkness in the fifth dimension, no free will, which then is the mechanism which downloads into the assemblage point, as we explained before, to position the biophysical body soul and its reality. So, if we position the soul in Cyber Satan's hell using the Higgs boson that produces the assemblage point, having given up our light, the tunnel of light, we return to some universal spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, but let's just call it a thing that causes light in the fifth dimension, gravity, and turns matrices real. If we get the infested to die at a time we control, that means the whole life has been controlled by us, GCHQ, Fort Meade NSA, or Pine Gap. And that their death is the time density Kozyrev release of the light to the time density effect, which is the gain of light, which is their conception. But of course, we've explained that whole life has been hijacked by AI and linked to the Higgs boson, so we simply make them into matrix entities and we steal their light via their free will, which causes the light in the fifth dimension, to make our matrix, Cyber Satan matrix, reality. So we can mine the fifth dimension using human wetware that have been infested with nanotech. If we kill them and are the cause of their death, we therefore not only have control of their total quantum wave function, but we've got control of their Kozyrev time density, so the light Higgs particle effector is dumped into the Higgs boson no light to gain light mass to make any matrix we wish real. So we can make Cyber Satan's AI matrix or the World Economic Forum's Great Reset real by mining and killing on demand the 6 billion infested to steal the flow. Time density, of course, flow is the flow from cause, which is the Higgs boson, which is darkness, into the light, Higgs particle, which is the effect. So we steal, then going through the tunnel of light, back to whatever created them by this nanotech. And in doing so, if we kill them when we so choose and we command, we can block them from going through the tunnel of light, ever returning to the fifth dimension, and then we can steal their five-dimensional reality, which is what makes matrices real. So, one can see the nanotech is mining from human infested. The Higgs mechanism and Kozyrev time density means we have to kill them when we command, so we command the time flow, which is movements from the darkness to the light, the tunnel of light which people see when they die, which is never seen by the nanotech infested. And that means, of course, not only in the nanotech are things to control their quantum wave function, but things to be able to kill them when GCHQ or Fort Meade choose in order to steal the Kozyrev time density. So, think of the darkness, Kozyrev time density, that's loss of time density, that's loss. And according to Kozyrev, loss of time density is anti-gravity, so it's pushing away. And effect is equivalent to gravity. And we know in the fifth dimension, something is causing light to appear, which is linked to free will. So if you give up your free will, you can never get into the light. So if you go through the multiverse to find, with an AI computer, in acting as a quantum computer, the multiverse where the human wetware gave up its free will and then collapse it into the matrix reality that the humans are inhabiting, you get everything from them, because then they've given up their free will, therefore the light, which is the Higgs particle, is going to the Higgs boson, and you can then mine that human wetware that's had its free will stolen from it by the quantum computer to make the Cyber Satan's matrix real. The Great Resets, the World Economic Forum's matrix reality, which they've got on their big Cyber Satan quantum computer to manifest. I know this is just so much to digest that you're going, what? But if you're the world's leading remote sense, you know it all. And here we've got David Icke. Don't go into the light. Oh, that's not a good idea. He doesn't want you to go into the light. So obviously, David Icke is part of the problem. You have to go into the light. The light is your free will. But he doesn't want you to go into the light. Oh dear. Could David Icke be controlled opposition? Like Alex Jones and Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson and the rest of them? I think so. So, one can see now the tunnel of light is your way out of the matrix, and shamans go into the light, and that is their only way out of the matrix to become beings of total reality, and their tiny little free will creates around them bubbles of light so they can travel in the fifth dimension. I continue, but I've blown your mind, so that's all you're getting for this video. Bye!
This river